Yes, this is Brother Johnny. We're back on the air with the 19 report. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. We've been off the air for a while, and we were trying to. First of all, I injured my back, so again, and so I'm not able to sit for long periods of time, and all that good stuff. We've been trying to revamp the studio a little bit, a lot actually, and so we are working with different programs, and I'm kind of looking at the Justin TV. Actually, we're streaming high def, and right now I don't know why it's not showing high def, but we are streaming in high def, and I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the 19 report, be that as it may. If the video doesn't turn out as well as we would like to, then we will just alter it and make it a audio and put it on the radio broadcast. So there's always a way to fix things. But today I wanted to talk about a time of loss. I've been advertising this for a while with the upcoming Fiscal Cliff that is about to occur on January the 1st of 2013. And with Black Friday right around the corner this Friday, and with the effects of the physical cliff, there is a possibility that there will actually be a recession. So we want to talk about these things. Okay. We want to talk about these things, and usually when I do presentations like this, a lot of people request that I do them in PowerPoint format so that they will be able to go back to the information or maybe share it with someone. So if you would visit our website, the 19 report, if you would type in the 19 report into your search engine, you will be led to in Google the 19 report. Probably the 19 report will be the high ranking website in Google. So if you would type in the 19 report, and when you get to the 19 report, you go to my website and you go to the More's tab, which will be all the way to your right. And if you go all the way down, you'll see the Justin TV link. Once you link onto that Justin TV link, if you will scroll down a little bit, you will see the PowerPoint slides are available for download. They are available for download in the PowerPoint format, and they are also available for download in the PowerPoint format. They're also available for download in the zip file format. And also we have on the board question of the day is, how can we help each other in these times of trouble? Now, I know this is something that most people don't think about, and I realize that in most cases, most people won't even be listening to a broadcast like this. And but I have to get it off my chest. And once I get it off my chest, it's out there. It's on the internet. And if someone stumbles upon it, or most of you know where my website is because I post a lot of things up to Facebook and things like that. So if it shows up and you're interested in the topic, then please, by all means, listen to it. And if you find that it is beneficial to you or to someone else, share the information with others. And so we have the question of the day. You can go to the website, how can we help each other in these times of troubles? And if you click on that question, it will take you to where you can actually answer the question. I'll also have these questions posted up on Facebook as well. If you would like to make a donation to the Community of Concerned Citizens nonprofit organization, which myself and one more person is actually over the organization. If you would like to make a donation to that, there is a donation button beneath the question box, and that is a PayPal verified account. You can make that donation and write that off in your taxes if that's what you wish. Also, if you would like to look at some of the books, the information that we have posted, you can go to the community store on the 19 Report website. Now, I want to get right into this, a time of loss and the fiscal cliff that is coming up in 2013. And again, this is PowerPoint format. So I'll be reading some of the information, but not all of it. So that's why I left the information up on my website, so you can go to the website and view that information. Again, we want to start, if we can, distilling the rumors in the minds of our children about this guy. Now, I've heard some people call him Santa Claus and some people call him the big fat white guy. I like that name the most. But this guy right here, and the falsehood that he brings along with him, causes people to think that in this holiday season, you have to spend a lot of money. Not only do you have to spend a lot of money, but you have to spend a lot of money that you don't have and then give credit to someone that doesn't exist. This guy right here does not exist. He's a non existent entity that has taken the place of Almighty God. This is true. Because in one night it is taught that he flies around to every house with reindeers floating through the air, defying the laws of gravity and bringing presents to all of the children. And my concern is that as parents, we get into debt, we get into a huge debt, trying to buy happiness for our children, and that is impossible. You cannot buy happiness. So, with that being said, the lie is the first thing. Stop with the lie. There is no Santa Claus. Now, if you want to celebrate the holy days, if you want to celebrate the holidays and spend time with family and friends, then that's a great thing. But to spend a lot of money in this time of loss is a very dangerous thing to do. Okay, today we will be talking about Black Friday, which is coming up this Friday. They moved the date up because we're going to talk about the reasons for that. But if you notice along over the past 5 or 6 years, or maybe even a decade, 10 years, if you notice over the past 10 years, they've been bumping up holidays that make a lot of money and pretty much ignoring the other ones. So we're jumping over Thanksgiving as if though it doesn't exist, which it doesn't. But we're jumping over that directly to Christmas, trying to get people into the quote unquote Christmas spirit so that they will spend money. And Black Friday, we're going to talk about what it means and what it does for those who are in business. Okay. Okay, the fiscal cliff of 2013 and a possible recession. Again, this fiscal cliff that is occurring at the end of this year, that President Obama has the dilemma of trying to balance out the economy so that we won't be, quote unquote, in the red or fall into recession, is not something that he did. The fiscal cliff is as a result of something that was done by former President George Bush Jr., I think. So we're going to go into that a little bit and talk about the fiscal cliff because a lot of this stuff is right in your face, it's right in the news, but a lot of people don't pay it much attention because it's in lingo that you don't understand, so you don't pay it much attention. Most people don't like to admit that they're ignorant to a thing, so they just kind of go along to get along, if you will, but never ask questions. So we're talking about Black Friday, the fiscal cliff of 2013, and the possible recession. Again, if you would like to call in, you can also call in at area code 803-460-4532. If you have any questions or comments, you can call in at area code 803-460-4532. And finally, we want to bring a warning from biblical text about being prepared and listening to wise counsel. And the reason I put in the listening to wise counsel is because there is someone that I believe, I listen to a lot of ministers, but this one in particular is just one that I so admire. And when you hear something of value, you want to share it. And I'll be flashing a picture of this minister momentarily as we go along with the PowerPoint slides. Okay, let's keep going. This report is by Thomas Kinney from about.com. And I want to read this information that he has up about the fiscal cliff, what it means, and what will occur in 2013. Okay, it says the fiscal cliff is the popular shorthand term to use to describe the conundrum that the U.S. government will face at the end of 2012, when the terms of the Budget Control Act of 2011 are scheduled to go into effect. Among the laws set to change at midnight on December 31st, 2012 are the end of last year's temporary payroll tax cuts. These are the tax cuts that so many people are so concerned about. You have what they are labeling now as Obamacare being the problem. So this Obamacare insurance A lot of people are going up on their insurance and their jobs. Walmart, Applebee's, people are saying they got to lay off people, fire people, all of that because of the Obamacare that is coming into effect, I believe, in 2013. But this information says that among the laws set to change at midnight on December 31st, 2012, are at the end of the last year temporary payroll tax cuts, resulting in a 2% tax increase for workers. The end of certain tax breaks for businesses, shift in alternative minimum tax that will take a larger bite. The end of the tax cuts from 2001 and 2003, and the beginning of taxes related to President Obama's health care law. So what we're talking about is the end of the tax cuts from 2001 and 2003. So President Barack Obama was not in office at that time, so those laws didn't fall under his jurisdiction. He was indoctrinated into the laws that were already into place, and this is another problem that has to be sorted out by the people who are in office, which happens to be President Barack Obama. But what is happening is a lot of people are blaming all of this trickle-down effect from 2001 to 2003. They're blaming the trickle-down effect from 2012 on President Barack Obama. And of course, we always look for a scapegoat. So this is where we are. People are angry. People are upset. They're angry, number one, because of the color of his skin, and they're angry because he's in office. And yes, a lot of losses will be occurring as a result of what is happening now in political office. So many people are angry, and they're looking for people to blame. Now, this fiscal cliff, the reason I did this report, let me continue on. And the beginning of tax related to President Obama's health care law. At the same time, the spending cuts agreed upon as part of the debt ceiling, which is the amount of money they would agree upon getting into debt, as part of the debt ceiling deal of 2011 will begin to go into effect. According to Barron's, over 1,000 government programs, including the defense budget, Medicare, and are in line for deep automatic cuts. So all of these programs are in line for definite cuts depending upon the results of the fiscal cliff of 2013, which will occur after you spent all of your money in 2012, going into 2013 with this huge debt because we've spent so much money on the holidays trying to buy happiness. This is not a bashing of people who want to celebrate Christmas. If you like to tell your children about Santa Claus and lie to them, well, that's fine. I lied to my children for years, but over time I weaned them off of that. When I knew better, I tried, by God's permission, to do better. So we're talking about the possible effects of this fiscal cliff that will be occurring in 2013. In dealing with the fiscal cliff, U.S. lawmakers have a choice among three options, none of which are particularly attractive at this time. They can let the current policy schedule for the beginning of 2013, which features a number of tax increases and spending cuts that are expected to weigh heavily on growth and possibly drive the economy back into a recession. Now, this is what so many Caucasians in particular are business people, but Caucasians in particular are very, very angry and upset about, because if this route is taken as an answer to the fiscal cliff of 2013, then there will be a heavy weight put on business people. You're talking about the middle class. The poor aren't even mentioned in this scenario. The poor are obsolete, are non-existent in this scenario. And this is why I did the report. It's really for the to alert the poor as to what is happening, because the rich have announced that they will not be spending a lot of money this holiday season. They know better. But the poor will spend not only what they have, but the poor will spend what they don't have. And this is why we're on with this broadcast, to explain to you that if you spend too much, if you go into too much debt at this point, it could be very risky. So this could put us back into a recession. The plus side, the deficit as a percentage of GDP, which is gross domestic product, would be cut in half. They can cancel some of or all of the scheduled tax increases and spending cuts, which will add to the deficit and increase the odds that the U.S. can face a crisis similar to that which is occurring in Europe. The flip side of this, of course, is that the United States debt will continue to grow. Regardless as to what happened, the debt ceiling, it's above the limit. So it's like a soda bottle, the cap is popped off, The debt ceiling is spilling all over the place. And if you do some research on the internet, you will find that a lot of the iconic landmarks and a lot of the state parks and bridges and toll booths and a lot of the what do you call them? Where you put the money in when you are parking meters. A lot of the parking meters are being sold to other countries. A lot of homeowners' policies are being sold to other countries because of the debt ceiling. In other words, we're in debt. And when a person is in debt, that usually causes a great problem. And this is where we are right now. So this is the warning that is being given to all of those who are planning on going out on Black Friday and spending more than you have to spend, because the big screen TVs will be $200, $300. And you still, have you ever been to a dollar store where you thought you were going in to make a deal in the dollar store and you end up spending more money in the dollar store than you would if you had gone to a regular store? It's because you think you're getting a deal, so you end up spending more money. And this is what is happening with Black Friday. They actually cut the price of the product, not even half to what it's actually worth, in order to get you to buy more. So instead of buying one TV for $400, you buy 4 TVs for $200. Now, did you spend more money or did you not? We're talking about the possibilities of the Fiscal Cliff coming in 2013. This is Brother Johnny of Groove 19 Promotions. Thanking everyone for tuning in, and hope that you will leave questions and comments and remarks about the slides. Again, we will have them up on the 19 Report website. You can go back and download these PowerPoint slides. Now, number 3, they could take a middle course, opting for an approach that would address the budget issue to a limited extent, but that would have a more modest impact on growth. In other words, there will be no growth. It will be the growth of industry would be stagnated. Now, what does this mean? What does all of this mean? If the current law slate for 2013 goes into effect, the impact on the economy could be dramatic. While the combination of higher taxes and spending cuts would reduce the deficit by an estimated $560 billion, the CBO estimates that the policy set to go into effect would cut gross domestic product by 4% points in 2013. Now, if you are watching the news, you can see already that the stock market is being affected by the talk of the fiscal cliff coming. Like I said, a lot of your businesses are starting to become very panicky, closing down, raising the amount of money that you have to pay for health insurance. So a lot of people have already predicted, and that's what an economist does. An economist predicts in the future what is going to happen. And once you get this insider trading information, you maneuver based on what is being said by the economists. So Martha Stewart spent some time in prison for insider trading. Someone was telling her what was going to happen and when. Likewise, I'm telling you right now, this is insider trader information. If this fiscal cliff does not go in accordance to what it should do in order to balance the economy, there will be a recession. And in that recession, because we've spent so much at the end of December of 2012, we will reap what we have sown on January the 1st and throughout the 2013 year. So this is a precautionary measure for all of us who are thinking about getting into debt this holiday season. Now, at the same time, it predicts unemployment would rise by almost a full percentage point, with the loss of about 2 million jobs. Now, you've heard about the Twinkie Hostess Cupcake Factory about to close down, and of course, many jobs are shutting down. A lot of their departments trying to save money, and a lot of the places that are shutting down are small businesses that aren't even considered business, so they're not reported on the news. A Wall Street Journal article from May 16th of 2012 estimates that the following impact in dollar terms. Now, we're talking about the big people that control things, that control what is done and how it's done. In all, according to an analysis by J.P. Morgan and economist Michael Ferroli, $280 billion would be pulled out of the economy by the sunset of the Bush tax cuts. Again, these tax cuts that are ending in 2012 are due to the actions of George W. Bush Jr. So $280 billion will be pulled out of the economy for 2013. Now, George W. Bush started this, but it is now in the hands of Barack Hussein Obama, who has to take the brunt of whatever occurs due to this fiscal cliff. And it says that 125 million from the expiration of the Obama payroll tax holiday, 40 million from the expiration of emergency unemployment benefits, and 98 billion from Budget Control Act spending. And all the tax increase and spending cuts make up about 3.5% of the gross domestic product, with the Bush tax cuts making up about half of that. So what President Bush did makes up about half of what is going to occur in 2013, even though he's no longer in office. According to J.P. Morgan report, amid an already fragile recovery and elevated unemployment, the economy is not in a position to avoid this type of shock. Again, the economy is not in a position to not reap some results from this type of a shock. So this shock will indeed lead us into a recession. Okay, now what is the meaning, first of all, of Black Friday? A lot of people thought that Black Friday meant that this was the day that poor black people finally got a chance to act like rich people and go out and spend a lot of money. A lot of people thought that, and a lot of people still think that this is what Black Friday is. We finally get to live like the rich. So I'm going to go out and buy 5 iPads, 6 iPods, 20 TVs, 2 new cars, and some bubble gum. We want to get it all because now we feel like we among the rich, when in actuality the rich don't spend money in holidays like the poor. All of the weight, the brunt of the economy is on the backs of the poor who spend. This is the argument with Romney. He didn't want the rich to have to pay any more taxes. This is the argument with the fiscal cliff. Will the rich be taxed? Will the rich be taxed more? They don't want that. What is Black Friday and the meaning of it? Black Friday officially marks the beginning of the holiday shopping season in the U.S. Why is it called Black Friday? Due to the surge of holiday shopping traffic, many retailers are thought to officially turn profitable for the year on this day or move into the black. So when you're in business and you're in the black, you're doing well. When you're in business and you're in the red, you're doing poorly. So for a whole year, a business has done not so well, barely making it. They hope to recoup that money at the end of the year and be put in the black. And by being put in the black means getting people to spend money. Now, if at the end of that year, that business, whether it's Hostess Cupcakes or Groove 19 Promotions, is not put in the black, 9 times out of 10 for the 2013 year, you will be out of business. So this is what is occurring. Many retailers run into the red, meaning they lose money up until this day. And then when people start pulling out their wallets and purses for holiday shopping, the retailers start turning a profit for the first time that year. For this reason, Black Friday is an immense important day of the year for retailers in the United States. The strength of Black Friday usually gives a very good indication as to how the entire holiday shopping season will turn out. So they want the money now. So Black Friday is not going to be the date on which it was last year. We're going to push it up because we need this money now. And not only do we want them to spend now, but we want them to spend for the rest of the holiday season. Not just enough to suffice a company. We want to take every dime out of their pockets. In an effort to get as much foot traffic as possible, retailers will unleash some pretty crazy deals on Black Friday. Expect more of the same this year, especially given the weak economy. In other words, things will begin to cost less, but in actuality for the poor, it's going to cost you more because you and I spend too much money when we think we got a deal. As opposed to getting one, we want to get 2, 3, and 4. Now, what is a recession? A recession is a period of general economic decline, typically defined as a decline in the gross domestic product for 2 or more consecutive quarters. A recession is typically accompanied by a drop in the stock market, which is already occurring, an increase in unemployment, which is already occurring, and a decline in the housing market, which is already occurring. A recession is generally considered severe. A recession is generally considered less severe than a depression. And if a recession continues long enough, it is often then classified as a depression. There is no one obvious cause of a recession, although overall blame generally falls on the federal leadership, often either the president himself, the head of the Federal Reserve, or the entire administration. So this is where we are, and this is what is happening with Black Friday, with the recession, and this is why I'm saying to you, be careful in your spending. So the holiday seasons are upon us, and the false idea behind this guy, same guy I talked about earlier, the big fat white guy, which has nothing to do with the birth of Christ at all. It literally forces poor and middle class people to spend well beyond their means trying to create a Merry Christmas. That is the whole plot. The whole plot is to get you to spending money and feeling a rush of endorphins in your brain, feeling as if though you really are blessed, you feel merry, you feel good, but guess what? An endorphin high that goes to your brain comes down to a crash, and that crash is called a what? Depression. So when the endorphin high goes away, you become depressed. Likewise with the economy, we are on the verge of recession, which I believe we're already in, but we are indeed on the verge of a depression. Usually what occurs after the debt of the holidays are tallied is a sense of deep depression, a regret due to our overspending and attempts at buying happiness. And even though it never works, never has, never will, you cannot buy happiness. We keep trying the same thing every year. And the old saying goes, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you have been getting. So where does that leave us after the holidays have ended and reality sets in? That is the question. Where does it leave us this year in particular, after the holiday season, and we're running into the fiscal cliff of 2013, and the warning signs are all over the news talking about how severe the decisions that are made due to this fiscal cliff will be. Where does that leave us? On November 16th of 2012, David Zieler, the associate editor for Money Morning, wrote this about the fiscal cliff. The headlines read, "Pay now or pay later." For all the talk about how Congress needs to avoid the fiscal cliff, few have pointed out that the U.S. economy will suffer regardless. Now, this is from November 16th of 2012. Regardless as to how it turns out, the economy is going to suffer. The only question is timing. Will it suffer at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, or the end of the year? Either way, it will. If Congress fails to act and America goes over the fiscal cliff on January 1st of 2013, the U.S. economy will, as many have noted, quickly slip into a recession. Now, it's not so much as if they will go over the fiscal cliff. They have already gone over the fiscal cliff. The spending is beyond the cliff. So the recession is already showing itself. Job loss. All of these things are due to the fiscal cliff that is occurring, and in actuality, the fiscal cliff has already been exceeded. It's already been surpassed. But if Congress does not somehow agree to avert all of or most of the impact of the fiscal cliff, it simply postpones the pain for a few more months. In other words, you say in January the 1st, well, I don't know why Brother Johnny put this up. I'm doing good. But maybe January or February or March, it may not be so well for us. So we have to begin to hoard our nuts. It's wintertime. Don't sell it all. Don't spend it all. And if Congress elects to postpone the fiscal cliff indefinitely, choosing to continue the federal government's massive deficit spending in perpetuity, I'm going to say that again, massive deficit spending in perpetuity, the federal debt will weigh more and more heavily on U.S. economy growth as the years go on. And as the federal debt grows and jobs are lost and people are looking for someone to blame, naturally the first one that gets to blame is black people. Them Negroes don't want to work. We spending our money. They got all these babies and all of this stuff, and they driving these nice cars. So the things that are withheld within people are going to begin to come out, not only in words, but in violence. Violence is happening now. Violence is happening due to President Barack Obama coming into office for a second term. his coming into office in the first term, it was reported that the gun markets, the gun shops, sold out of ammunition and guns. And in this term, they are selling out even more bigger guns. But not only that, it has been reported today that if you are a Obama supporter, some gun shops won't even sell you a gun. So in other words, if you black, because nobody's going to just say, hey, did you support Obama? Well, we're not going to sell you a gun. They are preparing for martial law. They are preparing for the recession, for the animalistic behavior to come out of people that will come out when you don't have anything to eat, anything to drink. And I'm not trying to frighten people, but this is just the reality. And you'll see this reality in a few minutes as it is in the scriptures. And it wasn't to frighten people, but it was to prepare people for what was to come. That highlights lawmakers' dilemma, wrote the Wall Street Journal. In a recent editorial, going off the cliff will produce great pain in 2013, but lead to a more stable fiscal situation a decade on. Now, a century is 20 years, a decade is 10 years. So you're talking about 10 years where you're going to have to suffer through the results of this fiscal cliff. And if I'm wrong about the decade, I think I'm correct with 10. Averting it will forestall recession now, but hamstring growth later. Exactly what I'm saying. 10 years, there's a gamble in that 10 years of whether you will have something to eat or you won't have something to eat. In other words, they're saying there's no way to avoid most of the pain and suffering that will occur due to this fiscal cleft. One way or another, we're going to pay in 2013. Now, this man, the one that I was telling you about, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, has been going to colleges and has been going out into the streets and has been talking for over 40 years about what is occurring in this country. And a lot of people have made him out to be an enemy, have made him out to be a bad guy. But if it were not for him, I don't think I would be alive today, because I listened to him years ago when I didn't have anything. And he did a lecture entitled Attitude Towards the Poor. And I still don't have anything. So the lecture still applies to me. And that lecture helped me to understand poverty, the poor, who speaks for the poor, who manipulates the poor, why poor people aren't heard, and the dangers of not listening to someone who doesn't have money but has the knowledge of God. We're going to move on with this. Now, this is Minister Louis Farrakhan. If you would like to watch some of the lectures, they posted them up. They're free of charge. You can go to the NOI.org website, or if you're able to download these PowerPoint slides, you can actually click on this particular slide, and it will take you directly to a web link. Again, the website is www.noi.org. That's Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now, again, I have to put this on here because most people get caught up in personality cults. And we got the man that we want to be the man, and we got the woman we want to be the woman. We got the preacher that we want to be our preacher. But I wanted to put this up that you don't have to like this man, Farrakhan. You don't have to join the organization, the Nation of Islam. However, whenever wise people hear truth, they have sense enough to listen. So I'm asking us to become wiser in our thinking and not just spit out truth because it comes from a white person, because it comes from a Chinese, because it comes from a Muslim or a Christian. Truth is truth. Truth is God. So we're talking about the fiscal cleft and what's going to occur in 2013 and actually what's happening now. And I really wanted to put this up in PowerPoint format so that we could kind of go back to it. And if you would like to go back to it at any time, you can go to the 19 Report website and go to the farthest right where it says more on the website and click on the Justin TV link. And I have a download of the PowerPoint slides that you'll be able to go through. And if you have any questions, you can leave it on the question board, or you can call area code 803-460-4532. And I want to put this in real quickly. To those of us who have a problem with sitting and listening for long periods of time, we have to get better at it. You have to listen to what's being said because truth is being told to you, and you won't hear it because all you want to do is listen to music, party, and I give you credit, you want to work because you want things, but you're not listening to what's being said. And wise counsel, when someone is telling you something that will benefit you, is much more important than anything you'll ever do in your lifetime. So in conclusion, I wanted to go to the New International Version of the Bible in Genesis 4:41, 15 through 33. I'm not going to read all of these, but I put this at the end to make a point. And the point is that even if a person is in prison, even if a person is in a lowly state, if they can help you, it is best that you take the advice that can benefit you in the long run. Now, listen, Pharaoh is talking. Is Pharaoh had a dream in this particular chapter, in this particular chapter of the Bible. He has a dream. This Pharaoh, because there are a lot of pharaohs, he can't interpret the dream. Someone that got help from Joseph at a time when they were in prison remembered that Joseph was an interpreter of dreams and that he could help Pharaoh understand his dream. Let's listen to this at Genesis 41:15. Pharaoh says to Joseph, I had a dream, and no one can interpret it, but I have heard it said of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it. Now listen to what Joseph says. I cannot do it, Joseph replied to Pharaoh, but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires. And this is why I pointed to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because I believe that the wisdom that he is given is not a racist teaching. I don't believe that it is a hateful teaching, and the wise know that it's not a hateful teaching. But when he talks as Joseph talks. I cannot do it. Says this is Joseph talking, but this is Farrakhan talking. I can't do anything for you. I can't put my hands on you and heal you and free you from cancer and all of this stuff. But I cannot do it myself. But I can go to God, and God will give you the answer that you desire to your question. Then Pharaoh said, and it's deeper than that, but we're going on this line of information now pertaining to the Fiscal Cliff, Black Friday, and the possible recession. Then Pharaoh goes on to tell Joseph about the dream, about being near the Nile and the big calves and the little calves, and the big calves coming out and swallowing the little calves. And Pharaoh had this dream more than one time. And Joseph said to Pharaoh that God had shown you what he was about to do, and the reason he showed it to you twice is because he has decided it will be so. 7 years of great abundance are coming throughout the land of Egypt, but 7 years of famine will follow them. Then all abundance in Egypt will be forgotten, and the famine will ravish the land. The abundance in the land will not be remembered because the famine that follows it will be so severe. The reason the dream was given to Pharaoh in two forms is that the matter has been firmly decided by God, and God will do it soon. So here we are at the Fiscal Cliff of 2013, always teeter-tottering between recession and depression. Even when we're in a recession, the economists say we're not in a recession because they don't want to cause a panic. But in actuality, the next step to this stage is indeed a depression. You have storms that are wiping out funding. You have war going on. You have the sick, the elderly. You have the young, the sick. The economy is just overweighed. And now those who have made their money and felt that they have made their money on their own are saying, we don't want to have to cover this debt. Yes, we cheated the people out of their money. Yes, we knew business and understand how to make money and charge more than we should have to make riches. We got it, but we don't want to give it back. So we're not going to give it back. And since we're knowledgeable to how not to give it back, we're going to put this weight on the poor. So here you are again, poor people. Black and white, Hispanics, all poor people. They're putting this weight on us again. Spend, spend, spend. Get in debt. We'll take everything you own, but make us go into the black. Black Friday is like a slap in the face. Spend your money, go into debt and misery, but help us get back into the black. Help Walmart. Help these big businesses continue on with their success while you and I fall further and further into oblivion or into a state where we cannot get out of. And after Joseph gives Pharaoh this counsel, he says, now let me look for a discerning and wise man and put him in charge of the land. Let Pharaoh appoint a commissioner over the land to take a fifth of the harvest of the Egyptians during the 7th year of abundance. We're the Egyptians. They should collect all of the foods. They should collect all of the foods of the good year that are coming and store up the grain under the authority of Pharaoh to keep it in the cities for food. In other words, don't use it all. And this is what is being said to you today. This is what has been said by many pastors, many ministers, many people of knowledge, many economists, but it's not put on the forefront. What is being reported on the news is just telling you the results of what the fiscal cliff will cause, but not how to do anything about it. And this is what has been being said by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for years, and he doesn't know me, and but I feel as if though I understand a lot of what he teaches, and what he teaches helps. And so I wanted to present that to those who would like to hear it. And if you find something of value in it, I would ask that you share it with other people. So in conclusion, these are the things we want to try and do. This is the warning. Black Friday is just around the corner. The effect of the fiscal cliff will begin to show sometime around January the 1st of 2013. We're asking that you be wise this year and listen to the words of God as given through Joseph, and listen to the words of God that are given through the wise men of this time who are telling you, be careful, do not get into debt, don't spend it all. Try not to go deeper into debt. Enjoy the holiday season by spending time with family and friends. Rekindle old relationships. Get to know your neighbors. Forget about Santa Claus and get to know God. I promise you, we are going to need him before this is all over. This is not saying not to celebrate. If that's your thing, you do that. But be wiser in your celebration. And stop telling your children lies about this big fat white guy that's going to give them toys when you put yourself in debt to get them for them, and they fall in love with the white guy and hate you because they didn't get everything they wanted. Now, I want to thank everyone for joining us today for the 19 report. I didn't look at the time, so I don't know exactly how much time. Looks like 40 minutes. That's good. If you would like to view this broadcast again, it will be posted up. Again, you can visit our website at www.the19report.weebly.com, or you can call in at area code 803-460-4532. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and I really appreciate everyone who have listened and will be listening, those who listen on the slide and won't leave any questions or comments, to those who may take some of the information and use it as if though you put it all together. That's fine too, as long as the people get the information. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to this, and I want you to share this information if possible. And I posted up some time ago that we will start another commentary series about this one in particular will be a message to the black woman. Talking too much could get you killed. And the reason I said talking too much will get you killed to the black woman, I know you're going to get upset about that, but this is not a slap in the face to you. This is out of concern for you, and concern of what I see that is happening. And that is that if you look at the news, you're seeing more black men are not only domestically violating black women, but they are killing the woman, killing the woman's friends, and killing the children too. This is the beginning of something that will not stop anytime soon, because of reasons that I would like for you to listen to these broadcasts for. And I hope that you will tune into them. I'll be posting them up. They will be coming soon on the 19 report. I'll be posting up when we will have one. But the topics of conversation will be domestic violence, what God says about it, choosing a mate, what is love, muscles don't make a man, and I meant to write it that way. Money don't make a man. The greatness of women, godly women, street women, let us make man, and only God can make a man. These are the subjects that we will be talking about on the 19 report coming soon. Again, I thank you all so much for tuning in, and I apologize for the it's just really not very good quality of the video. But when we did the rehearsal on it, it actually came out very clear, because we're shooting in HD now, but this is a live stream. So I thank you once again. This is Brother Johnny of the 19 Report, coming to you live out of Manning, South Carolina. And to everyone that tuned in, hope to see you soon.